I'm here with Adam Giaudrone. What, are you writing, producing behind Black Lightning? A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B?
Exactly. I'm a writer, co-producer on the show.
Now, how was this project presented? Because everybody seems to be kind of, it caught their attention, but do you have a different story by chance? Was it presented to you?
I've worked with the Akils before. I was actually a writer with them on Being Mary Jane, and so I was just very fortunate to come and join Salim and Mara on this.
We like you, and you're like, yes.
Exactly. I mean, come on. It's always good to be liked, certainly as a writer. So I was fortunate enough to be invited to join the Black Lightning party.
Now, with that being said, were you familiar with Black Lightning per this, or was it just like, oh, here's a TV show, we want you to go ahead and dive into all this?
I only knew Black Lightning in general. I hadn't read the comics, I hadn't gone through, but I'm a superhero fan in general. This is just my first superhero show. And so I had to go back and do my research, especially from the original comics all the way back to the 70s, Tony Isabella. Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of the work, of what he did at a time that now it's more relevant today than it was then.
Now, with that being said, you say that you're the superhero fan, so did you try to add some elements that maybe you liked from other superheroes to add into the TV show, or did you strictly stick to this is our image, we all want to drive down the same route?
Well, you know, Salim Akil, the showrunner and creator, had such a very specific vision of how he wanted to tell this story. And so our jobs as writer-producers is try to channel that, try to make it as clear and specific as we can. Because Freeland is a grounded world set in our world today, you know, there's only so much we could do as far as other superhero tropes, other superhero elements that we could bring to it. And, you know, we want to focus on the family. And so the family and the community came first, so we didn't really need to tap into other superhero stories yet.
Was there at any moment were you guys trying to maybe write and drive down a certain route, and someone else is like, no, we want to go ahead, we want to make sure to stay clear? A perfect example would be the CW verse and crossing over.
Well, we wrote the entire season before it aired.
Really?
We did, yeah. So we were in a bubble for this first season, and I think that that's a blessing and a curse. We weren't influenced by the comments, the fan response, but obviously we've been inspired by it. So moving forward, we'll get to use that to our advantage.
That's awesome. So how was it trying to figure out a beginning, a middle, and an end for all this?
Well, like I said, Salim Akil is...
He had it all good to go.
He's a master, and he knew the path that he wanted to go down, and then we had to fill in the blanks. And so using him, using the team of writers we have, we plotted out the show, figured out the journey, and got the beginning, middle, and end that he had in mind.
Now, what was your favorite part about writing this show?
Oh,
seems to be the villains with most people.
So many. You know, Tobias Whale is just such an amazing villain, and I was fortunate enough to write the episode that looked into his past. So you
created the origin story.
I don't know if I created it, but I was certainly the one that got to write the episode. It was great to see that, you know, villains are nuanced. Villains have a backstory. Villains don't see themselves as villains. And for him to have this very complicated relationship with his father, which ended in a hug, and, you know, his love for his sister, the thing that has built him to give him motivation to survive, I think that is very interesting. Yes. Writing Tobias is fun.
And of course, we're headed towards the end of season 1. What do you look forward to most for viewers when they get to that point?
Well, we've asked so many questions. I think it's going to be exciting for the viewers to get answers to those questions. That as the conspiracy starts to unravel, as certain relationships that are frayed start to mend or get torn apart even further, I think it's going to be very satisfying. I hope so.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. I do appreciate it. Have a good one.